What's the difference between polarity and phase? And how do you hear the difference? And then if you can hear the difference, what are you going to do about it? Today, I'm going to show you how to fix phase problems with SSL's X-Phase plugin or the all-pass filter on their consoles. Even if you don't have access to this plugin, I'm going to teach you some ways to hear phase cancellation and some ways to adjust for it so that it's not a problem in the first place. Hey, if you're new here, go ahead and hit subscribe and ding the little bell. I'm here to help you make every worship mix an enjoyable one. Just to be perfectly transparent with you, SSL did not sponsor this video, and I paid for the plugin with my own money. This week, I mixed a Christmas album for a friend. It was just a piano vocal, and he mic'd his upright piano with a spaced pair of microphones. He had taken the cover off the bottom of the keyboard and put a spaced pair of microphones right there by the strings. A piano is a really difficult instrument to close mic. While a spaced pair is a good option, it does come with its own problems. It's tricky to get the mics placed just right so that every frequency is arriving at both of the mics in phase. And with a piano, all the frequencies are important because there's so many notes that they're going to be playing. So what happens is some frequencies arrive at both mics at the same time and combine positively. But there are other frequencies that will arrive not perfectly in time with one another so that they're out of phase. This can make those frequencies cancel a little bit or completely, and that doesn't really sound good. It can make it sound really wide in stereo, but when you go into mono, like a lot of sound systems are, and like a lot of phones are, it can sound hollow or distant. Side note, if you're listening on a phone right now, you might want to grab some headphones in a minute when we listen. Here's a rough picture of what's going on there. What's happening is that as a sound wave travels over here, it arrives at this microphone at one point in its phase. If that same sound is traveling further away, it gets to this microphone, we want it to be at the same point in its positive and negative parts of its wave. So if this is at the opposite point of the wave as this, they're going to cancel out. So again, it's important to distinguish the difference between phase and polarity. Polarity is the absolute push-pull of a signal. Out of polarity means that when one signal is pushing, the other one is pulling. This happens when we wire up our speakers, microphones, or mic cables the wrong way. This can also be done intentionally with the polarity switch on your console. If the signal was identical at both sound sources and they're flipped out of polarity, they will totally cancel out and everything will be eliminated. So here's a quick way to tell if you're dealing with a phase problem or if you're dealing with a polarity problem. When you're dealing with a polarity problem and you mix the two sound sources together, all the low end will go away. But if you have a phase or timing problem, some of the frequencies in the mid-range will cancel out. So again, if you lose all your low end, try flipping the polarity. If you're missing some mid-range frequencies, I've got some tricks for that I'll show you in just a minute. Now, if this is making sense so far, go ahead and type Sound Ninja in the comments below. The other thing that makes this tricky to hear is that your brain will add in what it thinks is missing. If you're missing a fundamental but hear all the overtones, your brain will add in that information. So you actually have to ask yourself, am I hearing this low frequency, or is my brain just adding in the fundamental of the overtones that I'm hearing? This can be really subtle, so if you don't hear it the first time, don't worry. So start by listening to this piano in stereo and then in mono. If you're listening on your phone, now's the time to get your headphones out. All right, you can hear how stuff went away when we went to mono, but then when we flipped to polarity, it actually got worse, not better. So we're not having a polarity problem, we have a phase problem. So listen carefully as I engage one band and then the other, and I'll A-B it back and forth. Then I'll bypass the whole thing and put it back in. have to say, it is a pretty impressive plugin. So what does the X-Phase plugin actually do? It's adjusting the phase of only the frequency band that you select. So if you're flipping the polarity and you're still having phase problems, the X-Phase plugin is a great one to try. Now you've got to be careful, because if you put it in a place where frequencies weren't canceling, now they will cancel out. So you've just made it worse. I mean, this plugin isn't a magic bullet. But I was really pleased with how the piano got more solid in the mid-range and it got beefier in the bottom end just by using this plugin. Now, on the stereo plugin, I highly recommend unlinking the different sides. If you leave them linked, you'll actually not notice a difference because you're affecting the phase on both of them in the opposite way. So you have to unlink them because we're trying to change the phase relationship between the left and the right channels. So if you don't have this plugin or an SSL console lying around, there are some other things that you can do to address phase problems. The first one is mic placement. If you're using a spaced pair of microphones, you have to set the second microphone 3 times as far away as the first microphone is from the sound source. This is called the 3-to-1 rule. So if we're looking at the top of the piano here, and we're miking up from the back, we put our first microphone right here. It's facing this way. This distance here, let's say that's X. So our other microphone that we place over here has to be at least 3X away, or 3 times the distance between the microphones as this microphone is from the sound source. If you've got a bass plugged into a DI and you've mic'd the amp, that DI is going to arrive at your mixer just a little bit sooner than the mic. So to fix this, you can put a very little bit of delay on your DI signal so that it arrives at the same time as the mic. When the timing is the same, the phase will be right. If you're having phase problems between your overhead mics and your snare and your toms, you can try adjusting the height of the overhead mics. A different distance will cancel different frequencies that hopefully aren't as critical to your drum sounds. Now, SSL, if you did want to sponsor me, I wouldn't be mad about it. You can go ahead and slide in my DMs. Hey, if you liked this video, hit thumbs up, and if you hated it, hit thumbs down. Don't forget to hit subscribe and ding the little bell, because I'm here to help you make every worship mix enjoyable. We'll see you back here next time on Attaway Audio.